Yesterday's announcement with the 2.0 public test realm fireside chat shows that we have some new classes that we're going to be able to play around with in the new public test realm that's going to be out in a couple days from the date of recording this, and in Vessel of Hatred. So one new skill is going to be added for each class. I'm very excited about these. I'll just go briefly over them. So for the Barbarian, Mighty Throw is going to be the new skill. Hold your weapon, dealing 60% damage upon impact and sticking in the ground. While in the ground, your weapon pulses, deals 20% weapon damage for every 4 seconds. And then you have your enchanted, your enhanced fighters and warriors. There's just going to be some different affixes, but in general, it looks like the Throw Barbarian is going to be back for any Diablo 2 fans out there. And in general, they did have a video, more in-depth video about these updates. If you want to learn a little bit more, I just wanted to throw together a quick video, kind of summarizing it in a couple minutes. So this is going to be the Throw Barbarian. So you see, you can launch your weapon, kill everybody, and then this pulse is going to deal some additional damage. Pretty cool. Moving on to the Druid, we see Stone Burst. It's going to be an Earth Core skill. 30 spirit cost. Gather stones beneath your enemy and detonate them, dealing 80% weapon damage. Channeling deals 20% weapon damage and increases the size of the affected area up to a 400% increase after 1 second. And we have our Enhanced, our Primal, and our Raging. Kind of thinking about the Diablo 4 passive or skill tree, you can basically add, and one of them makes the damage bigger, but it costs longer for it to gear up. But this is essentially it right here. So we see this little druid, it casts this stone burst, and it grows in size the longer it's held, and it deals more damage. I think this is going to be very reminiscent to something like a hurricane build for a druid, just a previous druid skill that we've seen in other Diablo games. Very cool. For the Necromancer, we're going to see Soul Rift. It's a Darkness ultimate skill, so this one's going to be an ultimate skill, not a core skill. Corrupt nearby enemies for 8 seconds, dealing 65% weapon damage for 2 seconds. Every 0.25 seconds, rip out and absorb the soul of an enemy, generating 2 essence and granting a barrier for 2% of your maximum life for 5 seconds. So it's going to be a giant crowd control barrier kind of approach to this build, which I think will be really cool. And then there's this one. This is the only one that I'm going to specifically call out, the Prime Soul Rift. So there's going to be the Supreme and the Prime variant of this build. Enemies with their souls ripped out become vulnerable for 2 seconds. Damaging enemies affected by Soul Rift has 5% chance for their soul to be ripped out and absorbed. So I think this is going to be really big for survivability in the late game with the Necromancer. Pretty cool. The Rogue, we're going to see Dance of Knives. So it's a cutthroat agility skill. So 6 charges, 1 second charge cooldown. While channeling, so this is going to be a channeling build. So spin to win is the exact words that they used in the public test realm. So I'm not speculating on that. So while channeling and gain 20% increased movement speed, 10% dodge chance, and launch knives at nearby enemies, dealing 42% weapon damage. We're going to have an enhanced, a methodical, and a disciplined version of this. But essentially, it's going to be a Whirlwind Barbarian, except it's going to be knives. So I think this is going to be really similar to, again, either a Whirlwind Barbarian, or from Diablo 3, the Demon Hunter, just a Demon Hunter build, which I love these builds. I think this one's going to be really strong. I just have a feeling that this one's going to be seen a lot in the end game. And then we have the Sorcerer, so we're going to have a Familiar. So this is going to be kind of like a summoning build that you can do with your Sorcerer, but the caveat for this one is that it will summon a familiar based on the skill type of your last spell. So if you cast a fire skill, it'll generate a fire familiar. If you do an ice skill, it'll do an ice familiar. And you can have up to 6 familiars summoned at one time, which will be pretty cool. This little video down here shows that the Sorcerer is casting different skills. So the cast an ice skill, and then so it'll be an ice familiar. Then they'll have a fire familiar, and then I believe they just did those two. But I think this one's going to be really cool. I think this is going to be not something that's going to really be a main driver for the Sorcerer, but I think it's going to be a nice thing to have on the side. In addition to that, they did add some five new passives to each class: the Barbarian, Druid, Necromancer. I'm not going to cover all of these, but a lot of them are based around some of the new skills. This one, Belligerence, damaging an enemy with a basic skill increases your damage by percentages. The Druid, so dealing more damage while in human form. Necromancer, these ones aren't anything too crazy. I highly recommend that you go back and look at these and read into them a little bit more. But I think the biggest takeaways is that we are going to be seeing some new skills. We are going to be seeing some new passives to build off of these skills. In addition, we're going to see some new legendary gear for each of these characters. I'm trying to see if they had anything. They didn't have anything in here about it, but we will be seeing some new gear specifically trying to build off of these new skills that we announced. So let me know what you guys think about these new skills. Are you excited for them? Or are you kind of like, meh? I think we're really going to see a lot of these going forward. So let me know what you guys think down below. Give me a like or subscribe if you're enjoying this content, and I'll see you on the next one.